Hi, Tiffany. Welcome back to my spa. How have you been, Tiffany? It's been so long. Where have you been? I've been so worried about you. We're sick. Your father and I have been up all night, worried. You're grounded. Today we have my January 2025 TBR. This TBR has books that I want to read, including some new horror, some fantasy, some sequels, some things that I started but never actually finished. We got a little bit of everything with us today, okay, Tiffany? Are you ready to rumble? First things first, let's talk about my Patreon book club pick for January, okay? And that is what is it? Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. This is like his newest book. It's coming out, I think, in like the 16th or something like that. January and February, for my Patreon, we will be reading this book with the special co-host, Katie Colson. I know that some girlies think that Katie and I are gonna like stop being friends. You're literally delusional, babes. Katie and I are ride or fucking die, bitch. Katie will be joining us on the Patreon for this book, and I'm so excited. Literally love Katie. She is that girl. She is the moment. As for Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, I don't know how excited I am for it. I read the synopsis literally before filming because I'm a good booktuber, and it kind of seems derivative of like so much other horror. And I don't want to be like rude. It just seems like a little bit old, a little bit stale, a little bit, oh, this has been done before by many other people. Seems that way. I'm not saying it is. I don't fucking know. I haven't read it. I'm just saying based on the synopsis, it kind of seems that way. Basically, it's like about girls who, when they get pregnant, they're sent to this institution where they're like cared for, and then their babies, when they give birth, are disposed of or something like that. I'm not sure exactly. We're following a bunch of girls who are preggo and like teenagers, but then also they like discover witchcraft in this institution. It's kind of the thing of like, oh, I went to a institution and it was like spooky or whatever, like that kind of thing. That's kind of what it's giving. I'm really excited to read it with my patrons. I'm really excited to read it with Katie. Let me know if you've read this book, like if you read it early. I would love to know your opinions on it and whether you think it's worth it. So that's for the Patreon. Obviously, of course, join if you want to. Patreon, in case you don't know, is like a subscription type of thing where you pay monthly and then you get certain benefits that you won't get on YouTube, like exclusive content, readathons, reading sprints, etc., etc. I want to talk to you about a few like new horror releases because I do want to do like a reading vlog like throughout the month reading these books. First of all, I have At Dark, I Become Loathsome. This is by Eric LaRocca. This was sent to me by Eric and his team. This is the ARC copy. It comes out January 28th. I did start listening to the audiobook today on Libro FM. I don't know how I feel about it, but basically this is about this guy named Ashley, and Ashley at dark, he becomes loathsome, which is crazy. I know, right? Considering the title, that's insane. But at dark, he becomes loathsome, which basically means that like at nighttime, he becomes this like gross guy. He's like super duper gross, and he's like closeted, kind of closeted, but then also like contradictory. In the beginning of the book, he's like, I'm not really attracted to men or women. But then later he's like, I'm actually like super attracted to dudes. And so it literally makes no sense. Like Ashley is a guy who just like talks nonsense basically in my head. But Ashley's son and his wife are basically both dead. His son is like presumed dead because he's been missing for a while, but his wife is defo dead. Like she died of cancer or something. And so he's like dealing with his grief and like dealing with like the fact that he's probably a homo, but then also he has these rituals that he does for people. Ashley's fucked up. That's all I'm just gonna say that Ashley fucked up. This honestly really gives me vibes of Exquisite Corpse by Poppy Z. Bright. It has that vibe. So if you really like that book, I'm assuming that you would probably also really like this. The main character kind of just like reminds me of like an edgelord. He's just like, oh, I'm just so dark and like nobody understands me. I do want to finish this. I'll let you know what I think of it in the vlog. Also, in that new horror vlog, I also want to read Such Lovely Skin. This is by Tatiana Schlotbone. This cover is absolutely insane. Insane in the brain. Okay, Tiffany? I'm so excited to read this. I haven't actually hauled this yet, but I figured I would like talk to you about it, Tiffany, because I feel like you would probably also be super into this. This is about Viv, okay? Viv is kind of a murderer, like an accidental murderer. She didn't mean to like murder anyone, but she kind of did. She like accidentally killed her sister in like a car accident. And it's like really sad. She feels horrible about it. Obviously, like it like literally consumes her every waking moment. But her parents don't know the truth. Her parents don't know that she's the person who caused the accident that ultimately killed her sister. So she's thinking like, okay, I'm gonna get back into like Twitch streaming, make a bunch of money, and then give that money to my parents. And like that should be like enough to absolve me of my guilt. That's what she's thinking. So she's Twitch streaming. She's like playing this new horror game, and this NPC is like, hey, tell me a secret. And so Viv is like, okay, whatever. It's like an NPC. So she tells the NPC about how she like killed her sister, like the truth about it. And then that instance awakens or like invites some kind of mimic into her life. And so Viv then starts seeing a doppelganger of her like everywhere that she goes. Nobody believes Viv when she says that like something is haunting her. Nobody believes her. Everyone's like, you're stupid and you're crazy, blah, blah, blah. Except for one person who is named Ash, who is a cute social outcast whom Viv once bullied, of course. Viv is like not passing the vibe check, in my opinion. Viv is discovering that her lies may have hurt people who never deserved it, including herself. Bro, I'm so excited to read this. This has crazy good reviews. So yes, please, 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 please. I'm so excited. More books that I want to include in the new horror vlog. One of them being Wake Up and Open Your Eyes by Clay McLeod Chapman. This is Clay's newest book. I honestly haven't read anything from Clay in a while. I do believe I read his first 2 books. I really wasn't like a fan, so I never really picked up anything else from him. Let me know if you like any of these books and if you would recommend I pick up his other books too. But I definitely wanted to pick this one up because it sounds crazy and really fun. So this is about this person named Noah. Imagine that the people who watch like Fox News or like far right like media, like red pill type shit, imagine that they turned into like zombies or something. That's basically what this book is. This is about Noah, whose family has been kind of like slowly creeping towards the far right, just making a very saunterly pace in that direction. And he's like definitely noticed it because they're kind of becoming like weirdos. But one day Noah gets like a voicemail from his mom talking about like the reawakening, and Noah is like, oh my god, she's crazy. It's like just like whatever crazy kooky conspiracy theory thingies, whatever. It's like no big deal. But he's like, you know what? Let me just like go check on them. Noah takes the drive down to see his parents. He gets there. He gets to the house and it's like in shambles. It's dirty. There's like food on the counter and on the table. Everything's like kind of gross. But he finds his family, his mom and his dad, and maybe like his siblings or whatever, sitting in front of the TV on the couch, like in a trance-like state, just staring at the screen of the TV, which I'm assuming is probably has a like white fuzz thing going on with it. Then Noah's mother literally tries to fucking kill him, literally attacks him. And so Noah's like, okay, this is like not the vibe. And it's not even just Noah. It's like people all over the country are having issues with their family. People's families are trying to kill them because of this like reawakening thing. And so Noah and his cousin, I think Marcus, are the only people in his family who like aren't affected. So they have to try to make it to Brooklyn to seek safety. But the question is like, can they make it and not be like murdered by the hordes of people? I know that this isn't exactly like a zombie book, but I've been getting into like more zombie stuff. Like I used to be really, really afraid of zombies, but now as an adult, I'm like not so much afraid of them anymore, it turns out. So I'm like really kind of like creeping back into my zombie vibe, my zombie era. And this kind of reminds me of that. So I'm really excited to read this. And I will be reading this in the vlog that I will be posting probably at the end of the month. The last book I will mention that I'm planning on putting in this vlog is It Will Only Hurt for a Moment. I also haven't hauled this. I've read, I think 2 or 3 of Delilah's books. The girl writes a lot. She kind of like snuck up on me. Like I didn't really notice her until I was like, wait a minute, this name is like very familiar to me. In this, we're following Sarah Carpenter. She is starting over. She's starting from scratch. Sarah is over everything. She's literally gonna go to this like resort, to this like retreat thing, like reconnect to her art. Sarah's leaving her ex-narcissistic boyfriend. She's leaving her alcoholic mother. There's no internet. There's like no screens at this resort. So she's really just gonna be able to like reconnect to her pottery, really fully become an artist or whatever. However, what happens is that Sarah uncovers the body of a girl when she's trying to like dig for her kiln, and that kind of changes everything for her. After that, she really starts to notice things about the people who are at the retreat. Her fellow artists begin to act in troubling ways. The eccentric fiber artist knits an endless scarf. The musician like plays and plays and plays until their fingers are like bleeding. The calligrapher smiles and they have ink all over their teeth and shit. It's weird. And then Sarah notices that someone has put glass into her clay. So she's like, okay, I'm either like losing it or they're out to get me. And she's probably gonna uncover a bunch of creepy shit about this like retreat. I have high hopes for this, but also I'm a bit apprehensive. I hope that it's good, considering also that I did buy this myself and it was $38, and I do not remember if I got a deal on it. I doubt I did. I never do. I have a horrible habit of buying books full price, Tiffany. I know, it's terrible. What I will say though is I do like the cover. Look at that. Next, I want to read the John Gwynne books. These are huge, massive tomes that are quite intimidating. I've already read the first book, which is Shadow of the Gods. Still need to finish reading Hunger of the Gods, and then also I need to read Fury of the Gods. What I want to do though is reread this and then continue on with the series and then finish it all this month. It's not like I don't like these books. Like I loved this book so much. It literally maybe changed my brain chemistry. For some reason, I never went back to it. My bookmark is still in it. My thing too was that I was going to read the first and second book, and then by the time that the third book came out, it would be fine. I could just read the third book. But that never fucking happened, did it, Tiffany? No, because what am I? Unreliable. If you've never seen John Gwynne's picture or like what he looks like, he looks like the kind of dude who would write a book like this. Like he looks like the nicest fucking person, and he seems like the nicest fucking person. And I just want in my whole heart to support him like fully. Like he just seems like the sweetest fucking guy, and his books are so fucking cool. And the fact that I disrespected him the way that I have in the privacy of my own home is crazy. I know that I've done him a great disservice and he doesn't deserve that. Okay, quickly look at my annotations for this book. Oh, they're stunning. Annotating with washi tape, game changer. Shadow of the Gods, the first book, is basically about a Nordic kind of esque world. It's based, I think, on like Norse mythology, and it's basically like this place where there used to be gods. Everybody like hated the gods. Nobody was like a really big fan, but the gods were like totally rude. Like it kind of reminded me a little bit of like Greek mythology, where like all the gods are like incestuous and like bitter and just like annoying. They were just like catty and like whatever. The gods basically got into this like huge fight and they ended up like killing each other. The gods basically self-annihilated, and so everybody, like all the humans, were like, hell yeah, this is cool, yay, we got rid of the gods. But in the beginning of the book, a bunch of like kids go missing. People think that it's connected to the gods in some way. It's really hard to explain, okay? It's a huge thing. Look at it. You can't explain this. It's so good, bro. The characters are gorgeous and like beautiful, and like you think like, oh, I'm not gonna get attached. You do get attached. I got attached. And like the characters you love. The characters you fucking hate, bro. It's so good. You need to read this if you haven't. Speaking of books that I started but then never finished, I do want to read Battle Royale. And I know you're thinking, Tiffany, Jordaline, you've been talking about reading that book for so fucking long. It's like never gonna happen. And like, how dare you not even believe in me? How dare you not even like try to support me in my time of need? Like that's crazy, Tiffany. How dare you? I did start reading this. I was gonna read it for a vlog and I never finished it, but I got that far into it, which was almost 200 pages. Also love this cover so much. Like it's crazy. I want this like tattooed on my brain. Might be like one of my top 5 favorite covers. Anyway, and then I had an idea of like maybe doing like a reading vlog where I read just like Japanese horror. And so of course I was like, I have to finish this. And I do still want to make a reading vlog where I read Japanese horror, but I think I do just want to like read this. In case you don't know, Tiffany, which like I doubt you don't know, but in case you don't, this is about a middle school class that gets sent to this island. They think they're going on like a field trip. It is not a field trip. They get put on this island that's like deserted, and they're told to fight to the death. That basically the last person alive gets to go home. It's a bunch of like literal children on an island who have been given weapons, just like brutally murdering each other. It's so good. At least what I read of it was so good. I'm very excited to actually get to this and actually read it. Wish me luck. What's annoying though is this is like the newest translation. The audiobook on Audible has the old translation. So it's not like I can even just like listen to the audiobook. I have to like physically read this, which is annoying, but also fine. It's whatever. It's whatever. It's fine. It's fine. In December, I read Cuckoo. Why was I going to say cuckold? I read Cuckoo by Gretchen Felker Martin. And so I think in January, I want to try reading Manhunt without giving too much away because I'm going to do a December wrap up. I have thoughts and feelings about Cuckoo. I'm excited to read Manhunt. Also considering that like so many people absolutely love this book. Like I remember when it came out, all I heard were like negative things, but then people over the years have just been like, no, it's like really good. You don't even understand. Excuse me. Do you want to say hi to Tiffany? Bug is like, it's my show. It's my time to shine. Right? Okay, you're done? This is about like the apocalypse, and apparently like the world ended. It was like a total bummer. A lot of people like weren't happy about it. We're following Beth and Fran. Beth and Fran spend their days traveling the ravaged New England coast, basically like killing feral men, and like harvesting their organs. For what? I don't know. I'm not gonna ask any questions. But then we also have Robbie, who lives by his gun and one hard-learned motto: other people aren't safe. Beth and Fran and Robbie end up like, meeting, and things happen, and they end up like sort of staying together. Bro, this came out February 2022. It's been like almost 3 years? That's crazy. I need to read this. Like it's been long enough. We have 3 books left. Let me quickly talk about this because it is a sequel, and that is Fire Spells Between Freds. I also have not hauled this, but I'm so excited to read it. I did read the first book in December. I'll talk about it later, don't worry. But this is like a gay fantasy historical romance. Like it's supposed to be set in like 18 whatever, but it's also like a world where like fays and humans like are living together. I do believe it's between 2 fae dudes. The first one was between a fae dude and a human, but I do believe that this is like the fae dude's brother, and then this is something. It's kind of like Bridgerton, but if Bridgerton was like super fucking gay. Super gay. Another sequel is All the Hidden Paths. This is the sequel to A Strange and Stubborn Endurance by Foz Meadows. You may have heard me talk about this. I need to read this. Like ASAP. Basically about an arranged marriage, but it's also like about trauma and like healing and like, learning to trust people. It's just gorgeous and beautiful. And this is the second book, okay? God. The last book I want to talk to you about is Your Mind is a Terrible Thing by Haley Piper. This one for some reason recently has been like bro, there's cat hair all over me. This book for some reason has just been like calling to me, and I cannot get it out of my brain. It just sounds so fucking good. And the fact that I haven't read it yet is literally a crime. And I'm sure that Haley fucking hates me for it. Like, I don't even blame you, Haley. Like, I would hate me too. I would be like, okay, bitch, you have like 37,000 books behind you, and you for some reason couldn't get to mine, which is teeny tiny and only like 180 something pages long. Like, get it together. This book is about Alto. Alto is a communications specialist aboard this like spacecraft. It's like the future. Get with it, okay, Tiffany? It's the future. Alto's on a spacecraft. He wakes up from a tryst only to learn that like everybody everybody else on the craft is like gone or they've like vanished. It's like very strange. And then he finds out that actually something came aboard the fucking ship. They had the ability to reach into people's minds and change what they think, change what they see. Alto, who feels like the least qualified person, Fair, has to go on a journey to the bridge so that they can reunite with the crew and give them a chance to call for help. I'm usually not a huge fan of like sci-fi, but something about this, like sci-fi horror like this, it appeals to me. Like I love the idea of this like very hopeless situation of like you're against something that you cannot defeat because it can control you in ways that like it shouldn't be able to. Do you know what I mean? I love that kind of thing. It seems very scary. I also wonder if the bad guy is like this brain thing. My friends, my family, my familia, thank you so much for being here today with me and I don't know, talking to me and like letting me talk about things. What? Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Don't forget to hit subscribe because we talk about spooky shit. We talk about creepy shit. We talk about having such lovely skin and shit. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day, Tiffany. I will see you soon. I will see you in my next one. Okay? Bye. I'll see you soon. Goodbye. Goodbye. You're gorgeous. You're beautiful. You're like Linda Evangelista.